All good things must come to an end. And while I didn't necessarily want this series to come to a close, it must. I set out a very specific goal for myself when I started. It was a simple one: make myself a custom character based on me and then live out a life. It was something I started more times than I can remember as a kid on The Sims and The Sims 2, but never actually did it, never finished it, never really got that far, to be honest, and I decided to use this series to fix that, and now we're very close to achieving it. Considering I went into this with the knowledge that it might very well be the last time we play this, and which I'm sure the title and thumbnail have already confirmed for you, I decided we should just go out and have a good time. Basically enjoy ourselves while we can, rather than just living a standard boring life. And that started by going to the nightclub. So much has happened here. Chris has brought all 3 women he married on dates here. Not to mention this is where we were reunited with Katrina's ghost. It was just nice and fun to spend a bit of time here. Richard's still continuing his relationship and he seems to be having a good time, but this isn't about Richard, this is about Chris, because Richard is only a teenager, he still has a full life, and Chris, oh, he went home. I guess he has gotten old, so I suppose the nightclub was just too loud for someone of his age. And he seems to be struggling too much with doing things, I decided to do something I hadn't really intended to do, and that's retirement. It makes sense, he's only got a handful more days at most, and we really don't want to spend all that time working, do we? I think we should probably spend it reminiscing a bit, so I decided to go back to my first home. But the owner was out, so I couldn't go in. I also thought I could visit my first wife's grave, but apparently that's gone too. I decided to do the next best thing and go and visit the BFS, which was where she lived. Damn, they got old. This lady here was the other one I was talking to when I met at summer holiday, and yeah, she is old. But then again, so's my character. There doesn't really seem to be a whole lot of sign of summer here, but it was nice to see the other 2 BFF characters here. It's nice to see that although everything's gone old, it hasn't changed that much. I do make a point to spend some time with the family, since the whole he's gonna die soon thing is, well, a thing. The next day I decided to write a book. I haven't done that for a long time. In fact, it's been so long I'm not even getting royalties anymore. And the final book I call The Life and Times of Chris Pixel, an autobiography of this character's life. Feels fitting to make that the final book. Also, this is the point where the game decided it was going to try to kill me. Starting cooking, like I have 100 times before, and my character just caught on fire. Thankfully, a combination of Richard's quick thinking and the fire suppression system I fitted after the first time dealt with that, but that really shouldn't have happened. I decided to do some more family activities like fishing, since, you know, oncoming death and all that. The next day I decided to just cook breakfast and I caught fire again. How does this keep happening to me? This time Richard is fully panicking, but we have the sprinklers, so we're just fine. You know, mildly charcoal, but other than that, fine. What about next time though? Well, Richard was on hand again, but 3 fires in like a 24-hour period, and Chris is an experienced chef with a high cooking level. This should not be happening. I ended up deciding to hell with it. I just bought a new, better oven in a desperate hope it wouldn't keep setting me on fire. Thankfully, cooking the next meal didn't lead to fire, but I guess it's working. The next day, though, I get that dreadful notification we've been waiting for. It's Chris's final days. We're going to have to make the best of them. I decided to do that by going to the park, playing some chess and doing some fishing. Again, this is me revisiting things from the past, and this is where Chris married Summer. Later I headed home for more family time, and then out again to the bar, specifically the bar where I got married to Katrina. Chris's flirty nature gets the best of him again, but this time, oh, he should have picked a better choice of woman, because the one he was flirting with was his stepdaughter. Oh God. Oh Christ. Let's just hope Bella never hears, especially if we've gone to the bar with her for her birthday. Although I had no prep for it, whatever, so the party was basically terrible, but it did seem like Chris managed to solve any remaining issues he had in his relationship with Bella, since she hasn't been a big fan of him since he cheated on her with Katrina's ghost. That was a bit of a weird thing we did, wasn't it? You can tell things are back to normal because it's time for woohoo in a hot tub. Bella is clearly excited as it's been a while, but Chris, well, he just doesn't have the energy he used to. It's nice to see it again though, because at least it means things are back to normal as they always should have been. The next day was a pretty relaxing and normal one, just a day with the family, and naturally some woohoo because of course. The priority was the family, though. You know, I didn't know how much time we have. I thought I'll visit other locations on a future day, but it turns out spending the day with the family was the right decision, because as Chris went upstairs and went to bed, he was never going to go downstairs again. Bella went down earlier to get breakfast, and I intended to do some cooking with Bella, but it wasn't an option. He got up and then got down again for the last time as he died. Death appeared exactly where Katrina died, now here to take the husband at long last. Chris Pixel outlived 2 of his wives. The only one surviving him was the one that was a good bit younger than he was, and as sad as it is to see his death, it had to happen. Chris Pixel is dead. I placed his grave outside since he deserved to have his grave placed somewhere, considering how important he was to this whole series, and that, I guess, is that with the series. In truth, I could have continued, since we have Richard Pixel, we have his stepmom Bella Goth, but I had a specific goal. My goal was to create Chris Pixel and live out his life, and that's exactly what I've done. If I continue now, where did it end? With Richard Pixel's death? Because he's younger than Chris, and this was 10 episodes as it was. Everything has to end eventually, and now with the life and times of Chris Pixel well and truly over, it's a good time to stop. So thank you for following with me on this journey. It's been an enjoyable one, with a lot more twists and turns than I would have expected. I found I enjoyed The Sims a lot more than I expected to, and I might someday return for another series, but I need to do like a challenge or something, or maybe, you know, get some of the DLC, so it's a very different experience. I couldn't just do a playthrough. I will be starting something new to replace this, but I'm not entirely sure what yet, so I guess you'll have to stick around to find out. Take care.